Hey all, so I hope everyone is well. Today I'm going to be fitting some underglow into my Mercedes AMG GTR ride-on that was purchased from riiroo, so check out link in the description below for the car and also for the kit I'm going to be using. So this is a car automotive interior LED lighting kit. It comes with a cigarette socket adapter as standard, but I have these little DC jack power leads lying around. So first of all we're just going to test it to make sure it works. So it just runs on 12 volts, so straight on 12 volt battery, and it's working fine. So let's get this fitted to a car. So here is my green AMG GTR. We'll be fitting these two. So we're going to fit them on this. So first thing we'll do is flip the car upside down, and we're just looking for some straight edges underneath the car to stick on. So we've got one relatively across here, across this beam, two sides, and the rear is reasonably enough, probably tuck under those wheels. And then we can bring the power back up here through the where wiring normally comes in to tap in. So fortunately the kit I always get, and I always recommend these kits as well, is because it has 3M tape on there, so you can just tape it down. Running the wires is a bit awkward, so they always come tangled up for some reason, so untangle them. Remember, your control box is going to come up through there, so generally it's best to feed these down through here from the top, because the control box isn't going to fit through there. So I'll untangle these and push those all the way through. So one thing that's always worth noting is that hopefully the camera's picking up, you have these gold blocks here. You can actually cut these so they're slightly shorter. So I'm just going to trim this one here, just like I did a second ago on that one, just to explain how it fits in. Right, so one thing you've seen I've done is just cable tied up all the excess length of cable. Now you could cut that and make that a bit shorter. The reason I don't is in case I ever want to use this kit again or reposition it, which in a little bit I'm probably going to reposition this sensor somewhere for the infrared one. I'm not too sure, I haven't decided yet. We have a nice blanking plate just there, we can put that on. So just give it a test to make sure we've not broke any of the lights very quickly. It's a bit difficult in the daytime, but we should just about see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Working lights perfectly. Cool. Right. So next, let's get this wired into the car. So what we need to do is find a suitable position to wire this in, because you don't want to connect it directly to your main battery. Okay, so if you connect it directly to the main battery, kids leave it on, they'll drain the battery flat and knacker it. Okay, so we're going to look for, now most cars you'll have a light output on them. That's a switching sensor, which is on this car coming out, the looks of things, into in this circuit just here. Sound black. So if I connect the battery up, I'll connect my 12 volt to that very quickly to make sure it's not permanently live. Give that a quick check. Yeah, so as I thought, the lighting circuit on this car isn't permanently live. So because this is a low draw again, and because the way this car's wired, where the lighting circuit draws its power from the main controller, we can tap into those wires quite easily. Now, however you choose to tap into those is entirely up to you really, I guess, sort of thing. I would find a suitable place to tap in myself. I can pull back a bit of this heat shrink and I can connect my power lead into there and just splice off. So let's get that. So once your power wires are connected up, I recommend before you start fixing stuff into place, you give it another test. So turn it back on. If you're doing this during the daylight, flip it over. A quick little look at your lights. Check they're all working. 1, 2, 3, 4, flashing away. So next we need to mount our sensor. So we tidied up. The wire's still cable tied. We've reconnected the battery back up for this one. We'll leave the wires. Yeah, they're not going to get in the way too much. Let's find a nice, I think this plate here is probably going to be our best bet. See, we've got a plate just here. We'll drill a small hole. Now this is where you always start off with a drill bit that's probably going to be too small. I started off with a 3.5mm and up to 4mm and end up having to use a 6mm with this sensor. Normally they're between 4 and 5, so what I like to do now, as you can see, it's an infrared. Oops. It's an infrared sensor, so it needs to. I'm hoping the camera's going to pick it up ever so slightly poke it. If not, I'm going to bring the camera down anyway after this. So mount it in, so the sensor ever so slightly pokes out. Just put a dab of hot glue just to hold it in place. We give that a minute or so to cool down. While that cools down, that should be cool by now. And lock that back in place. Then we will connect our batteries back up, turn it on, put it upright so we can see the lights working. And it's daylight, hopefully. I'm going to tap the screen so I can see. It's not really picking that up in the daylight, but it is. They are working. So I'm just going to turn them off, on, and the sensor works fine. So now they're fitted, tidy up your wiring on the inside and put your seat back on, really. That's it, and enjoy it at night time. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below, and as always, check out riiroo. These cars are purchased from them. There's a link in my description. Next day delivery on nearly everything. Yeah, absolutely brilliant cars. Check them out. Cheers guys.